everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. So today I am doing my October wrap up. So I have actually been putting off filming this video due to the fact that I read a total of 30 books this past month. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to split this up and do Kindle Unlimited only video as well as like physical or just regular ebook video. So I decided just for this 1 month, I was gonna go ahead and just do all of it together, kind of put it all in one video. So I do apologize if this video is a little bit longer than normal, but just stick with me and, you know, we will get through this. The very first book that I picked up was Skank by Candace Wondrak. This is the third book in the Hillcrest University series that I started last month. These are pretty decent books. I am enjoying them. They are a polygamous or reverse harem book. I am definitely, you know, reading a lot of those, but this is about a girl who starts at university. She has kind of a shady history and she ends up meeting 3 guys and you kind of like are wondering what's going on. She ends up having to room with a guy and there's 2 other guys and they all 3 used to be friends, and those 2 guys are kind of like going after her roommate. So it's just this big tangled twisted web and like how they all kind of come together. But I am looking forward to the 4th book, which is hopefully coming out somewhat soon. Normally her reverse harem books are in like sets of 3, so they're usually trilogies. So this one is definitely going to be a little bit longer. And from what I've heard, it is going to be like at least 5 books. So this is one that I read on Kindle Unlimited, and yeah, I have been enjoying the series. And also, just to kind of mention, this series also kind of like interwebs with the Cruel Black Heart series. Like you kind of see a little bit of that in there. If you've read that series that I have mentioned and I said I really loved before, you'll kind of like understand what I mean if you read this one. The second book that I read and I finished in the month of October was Serpent and Dove by Shelby Moran. Oh my goodness. Either way, this is such a fun, I believe, new adult witch romance. So if you are going into this book thinking it is for a young adult, there are some steamy scenes that come into play in this book, so just be aware of that. But I really enjoyed this for the angsty romance that it was. Basically, this is about a world that has witches that don't have blood magic and ones that do. So you don't really get a big, huge, you know, feel for this world. It's kind of lacking in that aspect, but what I do like about this, again, like I said, is the romance, because it is just so much fun. So Louise is a witch and something happens where she ends up having to be in an arranged marriage with a witch hunter. So obviously, since she's a witch, that might not end so well. So she has to hide herself from him and she ends up going to live where all the witch hunters are. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun reading it. The main character, Louise, is so much fun. She's so witty. She's so snarky, like survival skills and like everything that she has. And to get away from all the crap that was in her past definitely was a lot of fun to watch. The ending was very explosive, lots of action, and I am just absolutely ready for the next book. So this was a lot of fun. Definitely a wonderful new adult romance book that I'm ready for the next installment, and I'm hoping there's going to be a lot more world building and explanation to kind of like the magic system that is in this world. The third book that I read this month was Dear Erin by Mariana Zapata. This is on Kindle Unlimited, so I was very excited to pick this up finally because it's been on my radar for quite a while. I just wasn't really sure how I would feel about the format of it because it is told mostly in like a series of letters. So Ruby is a part of this group that, you know, reaches out to those who are in the military and, you know, kind of like sends care packages, things like that, so that way they have something else other on their mind than kind of what's going on around them. So she strikes up this relationship with a man named Aaron and they hit it off, and somehow like they develop feelings through these letters and emails, and it is just so much fun to really see their dynamic change from, you know, just kind of like asking these mundane questions to talking about, you know, their family life, what's going on, things like that. So that was a lot of fun to see. I really enjoyed, you know, how later on the book it kind of switches from these letters point of view into like an actual storyline where you kind of like are in their places where you're seeing how they're interacting once they do meet. But yes, this was a lot of fun and I'm very glad that I finally was able to pick it up with Kindle Unlimited. The next book that I picked up was Pucked by Helena Hunting. So I loved this book so much, I ended up putting it on my sports recommendations video. If you haven't seen it, I will leave a link to it down below. And oh my goodness, I love this book. It literally had me laughing out loud so many times. Just the humor in it was absolutely the best. So this is about a girl named Violet, and she like swears off all hockey players. And it just so happens her brother is a NHL player. He recently gets traded to a team that is in her city. So now she's more able to socialize with the team and things like that. So somehow she meets Alex, who is like one of the star players on her stepbrother's team. Let's just say they have like a one-night stand kind of thing, and it leads to more. So I really did enjoy this. So Alex has this kind of bad boy persona in the media, but that's not really who he is. But he's done nothing at all to kind of like make people not think that this is true. So definitely you can see some problems arising because she has sworn off all hockey players in any type of, you know, romantic relationship capacity. So lots and lots of fun. And if you are interested in a very fun rom-com sports romance, pick this one up. I absolutely loved it. Taken by Lily Archer is the fifth book in this Fae type book trilogy series. Yeah, series, what am I saying? So it is a series, and the first 4 books are based on a completely different couple, and this one is starting with a new one. So it kind of like, the timeline of this is very weird. So you can see it starts off at the end of book 4, but you're thrown in with a completely different group of characters, and there was absolutely no build up to that. So like, I read the first 4. I did enjoy them. They were very like slow burn for being like supposed to be smutty level books, because a lot of the books didn't really have anything going on until the very end of them. And same thing with this one. It was very slow, not too much smut things happening. And I don't know, I just felt like I was thrown into this story. I didn't really care about the main character. I didn't care about the hero of the story, and I don't think I'm going to be continuing on, unfortunately, due to that fact. I read another book by Mariana Zapata, also in Kindle Unlimited as well, and it's called From Lukov with Love. So this is about a girl named Jasmine, and she has trained her entire life, well, from a very early age, to be this great, you know, ice skater person, and she is really good and has such an amazing talent. Unfortunately, something happens where her old partner decides that he's gonna peace out, choose a different partner, and move on. So she's kind of stuck for like a year or so without a partner. She kind of goes into like this depressive state. And what I find very interesting, she's actually the sister of Ruby from Dear Aaron. So this all kind of connects. You see these characters intertwine, and that was a lot of fun. So the main guy character, Ivan, he has always been, you know, her rival. You know, she's never liked him. Something's always happened where they always get in a fight, and somehow they decided that they are going to partner up together because they want to win. So this has to be the book that has the least amount of romance in it. There is so much buildup where nothing happens until the very end. So if you're expecting it to kind of happen, you know, 80–90%, no, it's like the very end where something happens and they get together. So I wasn't quite expecting that, but I really did seeing Jasmine's, you know, struggle going through and retraining her body to become this great athlete once again. And really, you know, the family aspect is such a huge part of this story, and yeah, definitely really loved it for that part. But unfortunately, since it didn't have that much romance, it kind of like bummed me out a little bit, but still an absolutely great read. I still gave it 5 stars, but yeah, just be aware, it is definitely more than a romance. So yeah, for the next 5 books, I actually did a whole reading vlog on it, and I will leave a link to that below because I kind of like, since I have so many books to talk about, I decided I was just going to refer you to that video. So what I'm gonna do with these 5 books is just show them to you and give you my star rating. So if you wanna hear any more in-depth thoughts about them, I will leave the link to the video if you would like to hear more. So the first one that I read for that was Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I gave this 5 stars, really did love it. There were some things that I didn't like so much, but still gave it 5 stars. The next book that I read was The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. I gave this book 4 stars. It was a lot of fun, a really really quick read and definitely am looking forward to reading more by this author. So the biggest surprise that I got from doing this video was the book The Unrequited by Saffron A. Kent. I have loved one of her books before, didn't really like so much another one, but I read this one. This was totally my jam. Loved it, gave it 5 stars, and if you like a good dark romance, pick it up, please. I loved it so much, and then we can talk about it. So the next book also is on Kindle Unlimited as well as The Unrequited, and that is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. So yes, I absolutely love this author. I gave this book 5 stars. I ended up picking up this book a long time ago, set it down, picked it back up for this, reading vlog, and so glad I did. Loved it so much. I love a good age gap romance, and Pike is amazing. And the final book that I read for that video is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Just gotta say, love that I have the original covers for the first 3 books. Very happy I found it. Also, I discovered that they have book plates that are signed inside, so that's very exciting. But I ended up giving this book 4 stars. Really did love it. I really liked the relationship between Hannah and Garrett. So yes, definitely enjoyed it a lot. So the next 2 books by B. Celeste, I actually ended up picking up because a subscriber commented 2 recommendations for me, and they said that I would really like it, and I'm so glad I did because I really did enjoy these books. So the first book is called The Truth About Heartbreak, and it is a forbidden love story that has themes of abuse. It has miscarriage. It also has, let me see, cheating as well. So if some of these things aren't really your jam, be aware if you don't really like those things, because they definitely aren't in here. So River is a 13-year-old girl who has been in the foster system for a very long time. She is both scarred mentally and physically, and she thinks, she's never going to be able to get out of it until she's finally adopted by the James family. So Everett is her adopted brother's best friend. Obviously, he is a lot older. I believe he's 17, she's 13. So nothing really happens when they are very young, but he is the first person that really kind of understands her and kind of takes her under his wing and really just protects her. So the last year of Everett's, senior year, he ends up dating this girl named Isabel, who is just a complete biatch, and yeah, just one of the worst people, and their relationship lasts 10 years. So this book definitely lasts a very long time. So since you do grow up and see these characters from a very early age to where they are now as adults, you see that Everett is only with Isabel due to a misplaced sense of duty. I understand why he stayed with her, but yeah, definitely he didn't handle that whole situation well at all, and like I said, cheating is involved, and yeah, I couldn't really get behind it, and that was one of the reasons why I ended up giving this book 4 stars rather than 5, because of that fact. I think this author handled these topics very well without it kind of seeming like she was just throwing, these issues into a book just to kind of create more drama. So that's why I decided to continue on with the next book. The Truth About Tomorrow is a huge age gap romance. So if you are very sensitive to large age gaps, definitely be aware this is a big thing. So this is another story where the girl has been in foster care. You actually see this character come into the very end of the previous book, and when the romantic relationship starts, she's 16 and the main guy is 31. So it is a huge age difference, and 16 it may seem it's a little young. So Charlie is the main character. Like I said, when this relation starts, she is 16, but she has dealt with so much in her life: drug use, abuse, sexual abuse, things like that. And it kind of makes her be more mature and grown up due to the fact that these things happen to her at such a young age. So Oliver is River's adopted brother, and he is also Everett's best friend. So you can see that there's a lot of, tangled webs that happen in here, because yeah, everybody's connected in some way. So at first I was kind of not really sure how I felt about this huge age gap of being 16 and 31, but this relationship was built upon trust and being able to find someone that you could really connect to in more than just a sexual way. So yeah, there is a lot more to this story, and I really did enjoy it, and I was very thankful that, throughout the book there was a pause on that relationship and they reconnected later on. So yeah, Definitely still liked this book. It is very problematic in some ways, but still very good. So the next book that I read is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This was one of the books that I really wanted to get to for the fall season, and I'm so glad I did because it was absolutely perfect. So this is kind of like a fan fiction, you know, Harry Potter type thing. And if I'm not mistaken, it is the fan fiction from Fangirl, which Rainbow Rowell wrote, which I haven't read that book in so long, so I can't really remember what's what. But either way, this is a book about Simon and Baz, and Baz is a vampire, Simon is not. They are roommates in this like magical school where they learn how to do magic, and Simon is the chosen one. So this is just so much fun, where you see where these two people are supposed to be enemies, but really they truly love each other. This book is absolutely so cute, and I couldn't wait to finish this, and I didn't want it to end at the same exact time. And Wayward Sons just came out, so I'm definitely going to need to pick up a copy of that very soon. Even though this did leave off in a very great spot, it didn't really need a sequel, but I still want to find out more about what's going to happen. So next I read the next two books in the Lost Boys of Neverly Prep, and I don't know, I didn't continue on with the third book. I started it but didn't finish it, so that kind of like gives you an idea about how I felt about this. This is a reverse harem, you know, story that kind of has elements of Peter Pan, you know, Lost Boys. Get what I'm saying? This book starts off with our main character Ever breaking and entering into this building so she can find information of where her lost sister is. So basically her sister is still in the system and she can't find her, and she wants to be able to find her so she can like get her back. Something happens, she gets caught, and she ends up having to make a deal with the owner of this company, where she ends up moving into this guy's house, gets like money, a stipend to be able to go get close to another guy who has something that the owner of the business wants, because of the fact that she can bypass all this security which was in his building. So it has this whole like, this is never gonna happen vibe, absolutely ridiculous. So the first two, I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand it, but after that, it was just like, I don't get it. I can't read any more of this. It was entertaining for what it was, but I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series. Dreams of 18 by Saffron A. Kent is an age gap romance. So this is about a girl who, at the age of like, what, 16, she has a new neighbor and she is totally crushing on him, but it's not the boy, it's the dad. So she ends up becoming best friends with the boy next door, and she just always has this fascination with his father. So the main character, Violet, it's her 18th birthday, has one or two mini drinks, and she ends up going over next door to where his rose garden is and picks like a couple of the flowers. And Graham finds her out in his backyard and is like, what the heck is going on? And she ends up kissing him on the lips. And lo and behold, they get found out, and he had not reciprocated the kiss at all, but something happens, he gets ostracized, and she ends up going to a like mental facility after this because of whatever the case. And get this, this book also has intertwines with Medicine Man, which is one of the books that I absolutely loved by Saffron A. Kent, so it's a lot of fun to kind of see those characters as well. So due to the fact that Graham has been ostracized from this community, he ends up moving back to Denver or Colorado where he lives. She decides that she is going to take it into her own hands to win this guy back, and she goes out there to make sure it happens. So I did enjoy this book. I did not enjoy it as much as Medicine Man, but there's definitely, you know, mental illness issues happening here. She is very paranoid about, especially about, you know, the repercussions of what happened when, you know, she did give that kiss, and like social media online bullying that happened. But yeah, I ended up giving this book 4 stars, picked it up on Kindle Unlimited, and definitely worth the read if you like a good age gap romance. I still had a lot of fun with it. So I picked up Theirs for the Night by Katie Robert, which was free when you bought it on Kindle, and I did not realize that it was like the beginning of a whole other series. So literally you're just getting like the first couple chapters of a book, and I was not going to pay like however much it was to continue on because I just didn't find it that interesting. So this is a polyamorous book where Meg, the main character, it's her birthday. She ends up going out with one of her friends to this nightclub, and this is not something normally she would do. She ends up catching the eye of 2 very looking good guys, and like they start dancing with her, blah blah blah. They take her home, and yeah, so she realizes that they are something more than what they are telling her, and then she says peace out. So it was very hot and steamy. It had, you know, some great sexy times in it, I guess, but unfortunately I am not going to continue on with the series because, like, I just don't know, I didn't get hooked in the first 73 pages to, you know, continue on and purchase the next book. Hearts in Darkness by Laura Kay is the first book in, I'm not sure if it's a series or a duet. Again, I'm not going to continue on with this. I did have a lot of fun reading the first one. It's definitely something you have to suspend reality and just, you know, kind of go with it, because the two main characters, McKenna and Caden, end up in a elevator where they're stuck for hours. So McKenna ends up like running into this elevator, never looked at the guy that was in there, and suddenly, you know, the elevator stops, they're stuck, the old phone or whatever is not working, they can't find a way to call anybody, and there's like this big storm happening. So they're stuck there for hours. Caden has some issues with being in the dark due to his past, and McKenna is kind of there as a sweet, innocent person to kind of like help him through it. So yes, if you like being, you know, the secluded trope, you know, stuck somewhere, you can't get out, and so develop some sort of like love connection, this is definitely one for you. Unfortunately, it just like didn't seem too real enough for me to continue on with it, and just not really sure if I'm going to. The next two books in the Demon Academy series by G. Bailey, I read, I liked. I think the third book will be coming out soon, so kind of waiting on that. So this one is a reverse harem story, again, polyamorous, one girl, multiple guys, and I don't know, again, it's kind of like one of the ones that sound, you know, like everything else. So this girl, she doesn't realize she is a demon, and somehow her parents get captured, she gets captured, and they send her to this demon school where she's going to be tested, and it's a very ruthless place, and if you aren't cutting the mustard, you get cut down, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it was very interesting. There are angels that show up in it, demons, you know, catty girls, which is just really annoying. I'm tired of seeing this trope everywhere. And I think there's werewolves. Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much everything. So if you're looking for something that is, you know, a little bit more lighthearted, but, you know, has some steamy scenes, I don't think anything really big happens in the first two books so that I can remember, but I mean, it left me wanting to continue on with the third book, so there is that. And yes, they're both on Kindle Unlimited. So next I read Desperate Measures by Katie Robert, and this was a recommendation from Riley Marie and her, what was it, like fall reading or something like that. Anyways, it was on one of her recent recommendation videos, and I always love a good retelling. So this is like a villain's retelling where it's about Jafar and Jasmine, and Jafar is not a good guy still, and it definitely has some like BDSM type themes, and yeah, so it's about him taking over the palace and him being in charge. But what's really interesting is in this book you see other, you know, characters that I'm sure are going to be coming up very, very soon. Like, what was it? Captain Hook was in it, not Robin Hood. Captain Hook, Hades, and like his story with Hercules and Megan Magor, I forgot her name, but they're the next book, which is a polyamorous book, which I am dying to read. But I really did like this book. I gave it 4 stars. It was fun, it was quick, it was easy, short to read, definitely pretty dirty, but yeah, still a lot of fun, and I am glad that I picked it up and tried something different, because I'm not really sure if I would have picked it up either way if I hadn't gotten the recommendation from Riley. So the most exciting thing that I read last month was the Bound Spirit series. So the first 3 books are out, and let me tell you, I am so excited about this series. So it's very reminiscent of the Veil Diaries series if you've read it. This is a paranormal reverse harem series. It has a very similar tone to the Veil Diaries, and I absolutely loved it. This is about a girl who goes into this town, doesn't really know what is going on. She doesn't realize this is a town full of supernaturals, and she finds out who she is. So the Veil Diaries is different, where all of the guys have no powers, but in this one, every single one has a power, and they're from very different like species, I guess. It's a medium slow burn kind of romance, and I am so excited, and I can't wait to pick up the 4th book whenever it comes out. I know that there is a little book of short stories that I haven't read. I'm not sure if I'm going to, but I might if it takes a little bit longer to get this 4th book out. Okay, next I read the first book in the Infinity Chronicles. I gave it 2 stars, and I don't even remember what this book is about at all. Like, that's how much I don't remember. And normally I'm a lot better at doing some sort of review and summary on there, and I should have done that because, again, I just don't remember. This is on Kindle Unlimited, gave it 2 stars. This is a reverse paranormal romance, and yeah, if you're interested, check it out. That's all I have to say because I don't remember anything about it. So next I read the first 3 books in the Dragon Shifter Academy. This is another Kindle Unlimited book series. I read the first 3. I think that there's a 4th one, and I don't think I'm going to continue on. It was just kind of meh. Like, the way that these Kindle Unlimited books are written is definitely one where you're like, it's left on a cliffhanger, you want to know more, it might be trash, and you still just keep ingesting all of it. This book is set in Las Vegas, where this girl, she doesn't really know what she is. She ends up, you know, she knows that guys are very attracted to her and girls hate her, and she ends up going to this new school because her mom ends up leaving and she has to go to Las Vegas and start this new school, and she doesn't really know what's going on. No one's telling her what's going on, and she finds out it is a Dragon Shifter Academy. So she is the only person there that is not a dragon. Then you find out that there are these group of guys that kind of like protect her and all that stuff. So it's very in line with, you know, the typical reverse harem paranormal thing going on. But yeah, don't think I'm going to continue on. But I did read the first 3 books. So the very last book that I'm going to talk about is Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is an amazing hockey male-male romance, and I absolutely adored it. And as soon as I got it in the mail, I picked it up and started reading it. This is such a fun book. You really see like that they had a friendship to begin with. They used to go to this hockey summer camp as kids, and then once they go into college, they had stopped talking due to an incident that happened, and they don't really talk about it too much until later on in the book. So you find out that one of the guys had more feelings for another. They reconnect their senior year of college at this like hockey tournament thing that they have going on, this big deal in college, and they end up both going back to that same summer camp as coaches, and yeah, they get together. Super cute, lots of fun. Absolutely love them. And yeah, there is a second part to this called Us, which is very more emotional. So this book doesn't touch too much on like issues with like homophobia. For the most part, like everyone that is in this book is very supportive of these 2 men. But yeah, you'll definitely see something in this book, but it's not the main issue. The main issue is them getting together, and it's so sweet, it's so loving, love them so much. I put on my Instagram about, you know, some more suggestions and recommendations from you guys about more diverse romances. So it doesn't have to be male-male, it can be really anything. So I'm definitely looking to expand my romance reading. So yeah, definitely looking forward to hearing from you guys about that. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know I talked a lot about all these books, and yeah, some of them are some of my absolute favorite books I've read in a very long time. Some of them were complete duds, but you know, that's where it goes. And you know, when you read 30 books in a month, that's definitely how it goes. If you have read any of these books or have any thoughts or opinions, I would love to chat about it and talk about it in the comments down below. And I hope you have a great day and happy reading. Bye!